No audio. Okay, hopefully we have audio now. Because I just noticed that there was a little red flashing light on my thing. Do we have sound?
Audio. Okay, hopefully we have audio
I
now.
think we do. I
I
just
just noticed
checked
that there was a little
on
red flashing
the
light on my thing.
feedback machine. So we should have sound. All right, anybody. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. Unlike if you guys, those of you who've been around for a while, if you remember with Ryan, Ryan would have a show where he would go 20 minutes without sound before he realized it. You guys are on the ball, and I pay attention to what you guys are doing. So we only went maybe about a minute, but hey, it's fantastic that we do have sound. So anyway, welcome back. This is not a this week. That sounded weird, but I'll go with it. So what we're doing this week is we're doing just a let's just chat, let's just talk. We'll talk about what's been going on because I've been off for a little while I was off into hospitalville. Yikes. Um, I have no idea how long we're gonna go for today, so it may very well be a shorter stream if I run out of energy, but I feel pretty good right now, so we're just gonna keep on going, which is fantastic. Okay. Next week we will be back with a this week we'll have the regular format back, so that is awesome. All right, let's get caught up here with chat because you guys are way ahead of the game right now. All right, 9 comes in. Welcome back. Thoughts on HYLD dividend cut? I will honestly say their dividend cut did not surprise me. 14 cents per share is a lot of money, and they really, quite honestly, I don't think they were making enough to really cover that. So you were probably, while you were looking at their price dropping quite a bit, they'll do better once we get into a bull market. But the fact that they only cut it 2 cents, that to me leaves me still optimistic. I still think it's a good stock. Now, if they were to cut it again, well, I would totally reevaluate whether or not I think they're a good investment. But right now, I think they're pretty darn good still. 12 cents is a really good price on what you're getting. They're also at a very nice entry point with the price being down. Once we do turn the market around, we start moving into a bull market, especially when the American market starts recovering, because you got to remember HYLD is investing in a lot of American ETFs. That is going to change everything. And I think that's going to be really fantastic. All right. Jill says it's good to be back. It is really good to be back. And we got Scott over there on Create, Save, Invest saying, welcome back. Welcome back to, I was going to say welcome back to you too, but that doesn't make any sense. Mr. Red Taco, good to see you. Yes, we got that fixed. We got Brian McGrath in the house. Holy banana bread, Brian. You normally come in towards the end. All right, 9. A couple people just pointing out. AC Dats is in the house. Great to see ya. All right, and yes, the sound is finally working. There we go. And Stan says, good to have you back. It is great to be back. Honestly, being laid up in the hospital for 2 weeks was insanely boring because here's the thing. Most people in the hospital, they're lying in their hospital beds and they're kind of like, not me. I pretty much kept my same hours. It's like, I slept at night and in the daytime, I just sat there bored out of my skull, did some reading, watched a lot of videos, all of that fun stuff. So definitely very good to be back. And you'll notice a change right away. I'm not using the green screen for the live stream. I'm just going, this is my office. This is what it looks like. Like behind me, there's the Hot Ones box that came in. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Behind that is a Lego, a whole bunch of Lego. You guys will see I'm kind of anal with the Lego, got it all color sorted. Just makes it easier. If I'm looking for a white brick, I just want to know where to go to get that white brick. So anyway, that's kind of cool. Right behind my head here, that's the teleprompter and then just another light. So that is fantastic. All right. 9 says, good now. There we go. I just went deaf. Oh, that's probably because with this mic, I am loud, I think. Or maybe I'm not because Brian is telling me to speak up. I drift in and out. So hopefully the sound is working right now. I think it is. So that'll be good. And we got Kay Miller, newbie to your live stream. Watch your videos all the time. Ah, awesome. I like to hear that. The live stream, I think it's a lot of fun, and we're going to look to do a whole bunch of things. I actually want to start bringing some people back into the live stream. When I started live streaming back in the day, well, a year ago, I used to have a Saturday night live stream, we used to call it, and I had a guest every week, and we just sort of talked. I don't want a guest for the whole show, but I wouldn't mind bringing some cameo people in, or even if it's just some pre-recorded footage or something just to bring in that we can react to or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun, but we'll talk a little bit more about things I got planned for the channel, things I think that are going to be really cool as we continue. Nicole is in the house. Great to see you back. It's so fantastic to be back. I will tell you right now, I have never spent time in a hospital before. I've been in the hospital for simple stuff, but I've never spent the night in a hospital. So it's a kind of an interesting experience. Bed's uncomfortable, food is bland, but you know, I'm alive. So that's the good thing about it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Those of you who saw my video that I had dropped the other day, I just gave you the whole sort of blowdown on what had happened because I thought that, you know what, I thought it was worth sharing. So that's what I did. We got Jordan here in the house. Great to have you back, Candace. Thank you, Jordan. Always good to see you. And we got Amanda in the house. Hi, so happy you are feeling better. Your sound is great. Great. I love that. I like it when my sound is doing good. And Mr. Red Taco says, okay, it's all good now. All right. Now, yeah, just give me 1 second here. One thing I did not get the opportunity to do is I like to gift a couple of memberships every month, and I did not get to do it last month because I ended up in the hospital. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to drop a few free memberships for you guys. We'll see who wins. I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting. Just give me a second here as it's bringing up. There we go. I'm just dropping a few. So that takes care of last month. And then that gives a few of you a chance to sort of just get a taste of what we do behind the scenes. Now, I am, for the community members, I am a little behind because, well, hospital. Normally by now, I'm pretty much on the verge of that exclusive video for the month. We're still going to have it. It's going to be a little bit later in the month. I need to drop some topics into our polls, and we'll do that pretty darn soon. And that way there we can see. All right, so let's take a look and see who has won a membership. All right, so congratulations to Stan Gray, Tim Carroll, Mike B, Joe Schneider, and Larry Summers. So you guys are all awesome. You all got a chance. And you can watch any of the older videos as well for the channel members. And those of you who have not won a channel membership, it's basically monthly. It's the price of a cup of coffee. So if you want to jump in there and you want a little bit more say on the channel, and because I always let you guys vote on our membership videos, and whatever you guys vote, that's what I make. So we're looking to do that, and I'm looking to take that production level up a little bit higher. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. All right, and Jill says, I like the new hair color. Yes, I have. Jill has been bugging me about my hair. I will mention this right off the bat. It's too dark. It's not entirely right. So she's very much into colors. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's lighten things up a little bit for the summer, see how it works. Play around with a little bit of colors and make positive changes for the channel as we move forward. So to me, that is important, and that's definitely something that I am striving to do. I'm just going to take a quick sip here, folks. Okay, now, one of the big things is with the channel itself. As many of you know, I made my living by day trading. Day trading, insanely stressful, and that's what got my heart in trouble. So day trading is kind of out now. I'm going to still do swing trading. They're more leisurely, longer trades that really don't cause all of the stress. The reason day trading is stressing, especially if you're a scalper, is that you're basically, you may be making a trade and you're watching the charts like crazy so that you can find your exit point, which could be 5 minutes later, could be 10 minutes later. It builds up a lot of stress, and I don't need any of that stress. So that is looking fantastic. Oh, and Jordan says, Hey, Jill, I like the gray with color too. Looks good on you. Yes, Jill changed her hair color. So it's kind of a purple with some gray highlights. It actually looks pretty cool. So that's my opinion on that. Okay. So back to the channel. What this means, and guys, start throwing questions down. I'll answer whatever you guys have. What this means is that I'm gonna have more time because with day trading, it pretty much dominated most of my time through the whole time the market was opening. Now I can set up a date. I can set up some swing trades on Monday, and maybe they'll fire off on Tuesday or Wednesday, and that's great. That gives me a whole bunch of extra time that I can then turn around and put back into the channel. And that is the goal. Is that I really want to build and take I want to take the channel to the next level. I remember where we started, and we're always improving the channel. But I think this is a great opportunity to take it up another notch. Now, in addition to that, I'm also looking as well to because I kind of been neglecting Blossom a little bit while I was in the hospital, making the occasional comment. So I'm looking to over on Blossom just to start getting a little more active again. So if any of you guys have not heard of Blossom yet, holy banana bread, it's pretty awesome over there. It's, you can sign up and you can see a lot of your Canadian investor peers, a lot of the Canadian investor YouTubers. You can see what's going on. You can see our portfolios. You can see what we're doing. And a lot of times we're making posts and we're commenting and sort of interacting with people. It is a great way to meet people that perhaps you wouldn't have normally met. Now, they've also just recently come up with a pro version as well. I honestly don't know how much the pro version is. I meant to look it up before the stream started, but I got sidetracked. So I didn't get to that. But I think the pro version, it's not too expensive, and it gives you a whole bunch of extra features. Now, they have a lot of features planned down the line with Blossom, so it's really good. So don't even worry about the pro version. Just get over there. Sign up on the free version. It's cool, and you get a lot of stuff right from that all by itself. Use that link I got a link down below for Blossom. Just head over there, sign up. When you do, be sure to throw me a friend request so that I can friend you back, and we can interact over there as well. So anyway, that's Blossom. It's awesome. It rocks. Can't say enough about it. All right, now let's see here. Do U.S. bond ETFs get their interest withheld at 15% in a TFSA? The answer to that would be yes. Anything American in your TFSA is going to have that 15% withholding tax. So the big thing with American stocks, with anything that has American on it, the best place for that is going to usually be your RRSP, because they do recognize that as a registered account. Now, here's the caveat though. If you're holding a Canadian stock, so let's say you hold a Canadian ETF that has American asset, all of its assets are American. So it has, let's say, like HYLD or something like that. A lot of times what happens with that withholding tax is that actually gets hit on that company. So you're kind of losing it when that happens. So sometimes when you do want to hold something in your RRSP, if there's an American version, so if it's an American company holding the same ETFs, you're better off to put that into your RRSP. And that's going to, basically, it's going to give you 15% more than if you put a Canadian stock that's investing in American ETFs into your RRSP. So that's kind of good. I think Brandon Beavis did a video on it about a month and a half ago. Very good video. If any of you haven't checked that out, just head over to the Brandon Beavis channel and check that out. That's a cool video. Good to see you. Yes, it's fantastic. It's good to see you guys as well. And Meat says, yes, start swing trading and people will join you on those trades. And that way they'll feel connected and get you growing. Yeah, absolutely. So my swing trades, like I said, I did a big one, actually. I did a really big swing trade the other day. Just before the Air Canada earnings came out, I suspected we were going to get a big bump at the beginning of the day with those earnings, because Air Canada's, their earnings I knew were coming in stronger than I think a lot of people expected. So, I put a good chunk of money into Air Canada, And at 9:30 the next morning, they did that big jump up, and I got out at the top there. So I ended up making about $1,000 doing this, which is great because I made absolutely nothing in the hospital. Plus, you know, some of the medications I'm on are very expensive. So yeah, that was definitely a good thing. Luckily, though, one of the things I'm on actually is it's a blood thinner. I have to take 2 injections a day. Luckily, the government's paying for that because it works out to about 2,000 and something a month to be on these blood thinners. So I'm really glad they have this thing called compassionate care. And the doctor was just like, "Yeah, we can get that set up for you." I'm like, "Yes, please." So that was definitely a good thing. And let me see. And you'll be doing a video on Blossom soon, correct? That is correct. I do have that in my on my back burner. Probably within a month. So the next video that I'm gonna be, well, I'll be scripting it tomorrow. Is the CPKS video that you guys, before I got sick, you guys had voted for CP for me to do a deep dive on it again, and now they're technically their name now is CPKS. So we're going to be coming out with that. This is how I figure. I figure I'll script it tomorrow. I'll film it on Tuesday and film it and then start editing it on Tuesday and hope to have that out Wednesday for you guys because that's important to me. So a little bit about those videos. So right now, while I'm in recovery, I would love to have just come back out of the hospital and dropped right back into my normal schedule. But I'm not going to push it. I'm going to look right now. I'm thinking of one thing. One thing I'm thinking about is quality. So I don't want to be putting out videos for the sake of putting out videos. So right now, the normal schedule is kind of off kilter. We're heading back to the normal schedule, and that's going to be great. But for now, it's going to simply be video by video. It's like I finish a video, I start coming up with the idea for the next video and getting it all together and, scripting, filming, editing, and then out. And then we're going to just rinse and repeat that. Now, what will be back now, of course, is next week we'll start back with the This Week, and that will be consistent. So that will be back. It'll be your normal 1-hour format, unless you guys get me distracted. You guys ask a lot of great questions. I think the one before I got sick, I thought we went almost an hour and a half. So that was absolutely awesome. All right. Jay Borg's in the house. Hi, Jay Borg. It is fantastic to see you. And Nine says, dang, I thought the withholding tax on U.S. interest was a bit lower. Yeah, it's when you're dealing with the taxes, it's never a good thing. Interestingly enough, though, if you're holding let's just talk about an American stock. Sometimes it's better to hold it in your personal if you can't put it into your RRSP for whatever reason. At least if it gets billed, at least if you get that 15% withholding tax on your personal, you can actually recover that when tax time comes. So that's a nice thing about that. But at the same time, I usually say understanding the tax laws, the tax ramifications, and I do want to do a video on that as well. I know that I mentioned that Brandon Beavis has a pretty good one out on it, but I'd like to do one my style. So that's on the horizon as well. I definitely have a lot of videos on the horizon for you guys, so I'm looking pretty darn excited about that. Hot Ones challenge. As you guys can see, the box is here. So we've got the Hot Ones here. What I'm looking to do is, I know I said at 2,000, and it may be 2,000. I'm feeling fantastic right now. Like I feel if it were today, I could do it. But it really depends. We're going to evaluate it at 2,000. Worst case scenario, we're still doing it. It is on the radar. If it's a situation like if all of a sudden, like, let's say I picked up 1,000 and a handful of subs overnight and we're at 2,000 tomorrow, I'd probably delay it by maybe a couple of weeks. So I think we'll be fine. Like I anticipate us getting to the 2,000 sub mark probably, I would say in June. So, look for that video. It's not a video. It's going to be a live stream. It's like, heck, if I'm going to be sweating and breathing fire, you guys are going to get a front row seat to that. And that's going to be great. I will, as we get closer, I will start asking you guys for questions because I need 10 doozy questions that I can answer after each hot ones, after each hot whatever it's going to be, whether it be tofu, whether it's pork. We have to figure that out. I am on a restricted salt diet, so we have to kind of I'll make sure whatever we're putting the hot sauce on is not too hot, or sorry, is not too salty. It's going to be hot. It's definitely going to be hot. So, and here's the funny thing. Jill has given me a little bit of hot food. Like, she's like, oh, you're in training for that. And I think I've been very half decent with hot food. I think my stay in the hospital and my 2 weeks of very bland food has maybe chipped away at that little heat resistance a bit. So it could be a very interesting video. I actually can't wait. I can't wait. And then I can start using some of these as well, just regular. Because right now I want them, like right now, none of them have been opened. I'm waiting. Whoops. I hope that didn't make a big noise. I accidentally hit the mic. I am waiting for that video. So that's going to be fantastic. And Diddy says, great to see you, Candace, and hope you're doing well with your health. I'm feeling pretty darn good. It's interesting. I've lost, in the last 17 days, I've lost 25 pounds. I think most of it obviously is water weight because I am on diuretics, because that was one of the things. Some of the issues with the heart was causing water to back up within me. And that's gone now, mostly. So I'm actually feeling pretty darn good. My breath is back. That's the most important part. So I'm feeling fantastic. I'm well on the road to recovery. I know what I need to do. And I'm stoked to do it. Although, let me tell you guys about this. I had a person on my video that I just dropped. They basically wrote down, oh, yeah, you haven't dropped enough kilograms. You're going to fail. I was just like, oh, okay, wonderful. But anyway, I was just like, I couldn't believe somebody would say that, but they did. That's kind of the thing, though. Every so often on YouTube, you do run into some people who, now I don't know if they were trying to troll or whether they were just, kind of being trollish, but that's fine. I don't take offense to stuff like that. It's like water off a duck's back. All right, King of Day says, hello there, Candace. Good to see you. Doing well. Thank you, King of Day. This is fantastic. I've been looking forward to today just to, get a chance to connect with you guys again. It's like awesome. All right. And 9 says, I had some extra dividend money in my TFSA, so I bought some US bonds for diversification. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's good diversification. But any withholding tax that does get charged in your TFSA, you never get that back. It's gone forever. So just keep that in mind when you're doing things in your TFSA. All right. And Bleak says, hey, Bleak, it's good to see you. 9 says, ignore trolls. It's the best option. Yeah, it usually is. Sometimes, though, I will usually, with a trollish comment, I can't resist trolls. I'm bad at this. It was actually funny. I think it was on some video I was looking at. It wasn't even on my channel. When they had started over doing a couple of the Blossom videos, somebody had replied, why wasn't Candace from Mountain Finance on this video? And somebody replied, oh, she really wasn't pretty enough. And I was like, I read it and I replied, I said, true enough. I'll give you that one. But I thought that was just really funny. So I tend to be that way. If I can make fun of the troll making fun of me, I will usually do it. I think I may have been a stand-up comic in a past life. Maybe not a good one, but at least a funny occasionally one. And Enid says, sorry for being late. That's okay. That's what the replay is all about, Enid, if you're late. But I will say to you, Enid, I really appreciated a lot of your comments while I was in the hospital and all my updates. You were fantastic. And not just Enid, a lot of you made a lot of great comments, and I was very thankful. It was like, a lot of times some of your comments made my day. And that, to me, that's important. That's what a good community is all about. And Diddy says, can you please do the evaluating a stock with discounted cash flow someday? Yes, I can. It will be a long video. The process of using a discounted cash flow model, It's not a simple formula. You're looking at a multiple formulas. It's very complex. And I've thought about this. I was actually thinking, is this one I want to just make a video on? Is the community ready for it? And I know some of you definitely are. So it's on the back burner. It's not, it's probably not going to happen within a month or two, but I probably would like to do it over the summer for sure. So I think Diddy, we will get that done for you. And Mr. Red Taco says, I wouldn't know how to troll even if I wanted to troll. Yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I think, and here's the thing, I think, especially in Canada, those of us in Canada, it's, we all grew up with our parents, instilling pretty good, strong Canadian values in us. So we tend to be, I don't want to say polite. I don't want to say that we are the stereotypes, but we do exude some of the Canadian stereotypes. Some of them are true. I mean, especially, I think on the polite side, if you go to the if you go to the Maritimes, holy banana bread, we're very polite there. It's just a way it is. And that's, to me, I don't even think that's a bad thing. I think that's a really good thing about Canada. It's one of the reasons that, we can go to any part of the world for the most part, and we're not in, we're sort of not looked down on as for example, an American. As a matter of fact, a lot of Americans will actually put maple leaf pins on themselves just so that they hope people think they're Canadian instead of American. But that's, and that's cool. I don't mind them doing that. I would rather see everybody be safe. So that's kind of a good thing. Will you treat people how you want to be treated? Absolutely. And that is really the key to everything. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and I think everything will look out pretty good in the end. So that's kind of a neat little thing. So video wise, like I said, the next one's going to be CP. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do after that one. I know there's a whole bunch. I really could use a list video because I know how much some of you guys have liked the list videos. Although, here's an interesting fact. So my canoe video for the longest time had been sitting at number 1 on the channel forever. Most views out of any video I've made. But now, I mentioned it before that I did that OAS video. So the old age security video, well, big surprise. While I was in the hospital, it dethroned the canoe video, and now it's standing all by itself, and it's still growing. So it's just a fantastic little video. And the funny thing is, when I made the OAS video, I just made it as a follow-up to the CPP one, and I assumed it was going to be one of those videos that wasn't going to get a lot of views, but it would be there for people who do want it. That's kind of how I thought of it, and well, it surprised me. It has done better than I have expected. All right, and Fred Zorro says, just tuned in. So good to see you back to your normal, good-humored self. Yeah, absolutely. I'll even see if before the show's done, I can come up with a dry joke that I can throw out there. Budgeting video. That's an interesting idea. Now I know that Jill with her FIQ had touched on that, but we could certainly look into revisiting budgeting down the road. I think that would be kind of fantastic as well. I also think one of the things I'm looking forward to doing as well is I'd like to do a video as kind of a guide to entering the bull market, because that's coming. Now, a lot of people are not sure when. Interestingly enough, I did read an article the other day that said a lot of the companies are already acting like they're in a recession, and their earnings are kind of reflecting recessionary earnings. So if that's true, if we are kind of in a recession, even though we're not hitting all of the criteria because of the weird job stuff, it could very well be that by the time they admit that we're in a recession, we're already on the verge of the bull market pulling us back out of the recession, which would be fantastic. So I do see a bull market coming, and I've been thinking the fall, and I'm still thinking the fall. Now, I know, I remember, I think I was watching a video on Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin believes the bottom was back in October, and he's got this whole little Nike swoosh thing for the way the market's going to recover. So a long, slow climb up, and then bang, kind of the bull market type thing. So we'll have to see if he's right. His reasoning is it's not off too bad, but I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that turns out. I'm still kind of thinking that we're going to see we're going to either see the bull market or we're going to very well see that we're moving into it for sure by the fall. But keep in mind, this is a dynamic system, so things can change on the drop of a hat. But that's the way I'm seeing it at this point right now. And Jill says, I don't mind writing scripts. It's just the filming. It's really difficult for me because she can't. Yeah, we're like Jill is, for those of you who don't know, she's visually impaired, so she can't use a teleprompter. So it's very, very hard for her to do it. But if she wants to write a budgeting script, I could always film it for her. I mean, there's that option as well. But let us work on that. Let us sit on that. Or see if we can find a solution for her to make it a little bit easier, because I'd love to see her do another video. I have my goal setting video already written to 7, filmed it before. I haven't figured out how I'm going to film it. So yeah, and that's the whole thing. So when you're dealing in Jill's situation, we need the adaptiveness to be able to pull some stuff off. So we're looking into solutions on that. But that's cool. All right, Mr. Red Taco said, how's the driver training? I can't remember if you talked about it a couple of months ago. Okay, so update on the driving training. I finished the course. So I've got the driving component done. I've got the all of the written stuff done. So now it's just a matter of setting up the actual driving test. Now, where the hospitalization kind of messed things up, otherwise I probably would have done it in the middle of this month. So we're probably looking at sometime in the summer, but I'll update you guys as that comes. Like, I'm feeling pretty darn good about the driving. So I think that will be, it'll just be a matter of time and we'll get that done. And then, you know, hey, it'll be cool. It'll be nice to drive, but at the same time, I don't want to over rely on the driving, because part of all of the changes I'm making for my heart and to make my life a lot more better is getting exercise in. And that's going to be, you know, a situation where I'm not going to just drive someplace close for the sake of driving. It'll be a situation where it's like, let's walk and get that exercise, and that'll be better for me in the long run. All right, King of Day says, there has been some heated debate on Blossom over FANTA. As a trader and an investor, do you have any take on it yet? FANTA. Interesting. I haven't really thought about it yet, to be honest, King of Day. But I will take a look at that. Like I said, I've been kind of away from a lot of the Blossom, the conversations on Blossom because of the hospital. So let me take a look and see what the arguments are on that. Ask me again next week, and I'll give you my stance on it. Right now, I don't have one, because it's not because I'm fence sitting. It's just I haven't had a chance to really look at it. So this will be interesting to see. All right, Fred Zero says, grateful if you can consider insurance stocks at some time. SLF came in with excellent earnings, but the stock did not advance. MFC seems to be trading sideways despite good earnings. What gives? It's an interesting thing. Now, I actually did do an MFC versus Sun Life video not that long ago. So we did touch a little bit on insurance stocks. But Manulife Financial, they are really, really primed to do well, but they're not. And that is a little concerning, especially considering they've been given access to China. That should have really exploded their price more than it has. And I think it's kind of like, have you ever heard, you know, with fires, you've got that whole thing about a backdraft where it just keeps on building until it's ready to explode. That might be what we're seeing with MFC. I still think they have all of the ingredients to make some really good moves, and we're going to have to see what happens on that. But I can certainly in the future take a look into the entire insurance industry. I could do that. That would be kind of fun, actually. All right, Kay Miller says, REITs are taking a beating lately. Don't know whether to buy more now or wait and see if they drop more. It really comes down to You got to realize that a lot of these REITs, some of the stuff that they're having, some of their problems all have to do, of course, with some of the rate hikes. They're paying a lot more interest. That is affecting them. Uh, Different depending on the REITs. There are a lot of them are running into situations where their renters are not able to make rents. So there's a lot of issues that are kind of happening right across the board with a lot of REITs. There are some REITs that I would be totally comfortable with getting involved with. Um, like for example, there is a REIT for Canadian Tire. I think that one is pretty safe. But here's the thing: once the hikes level off, and they have in Canada for now. Hopefully they don't go back up. But once we start seeing cuts, you're going to really see REITs shine at that point. But I think right now, if you're looking for short-term gains, you're not going to find them in REITs. They may be a little bit longer time, but a lot of times too, keep in mind too, a lot of times with REITs, they tend to be more of a dividend play than a growth play. So here's one of those interesting things. A lot of people have kind of gotten, especially newer investors, they've gotten a little confused over REITs. And the reason they have done this is that a lot of these REITs have been pretty much moving flat for a long time. And then along came the pandemic. With the pandemic, the REITs had a massive drop. Well, pretty much everybody does. You can look on any chart and you can pretty much pick March of 2020 very easily out. But then the REITs, what ended up happening is they started to recover, but they didn't recover fast. They've been recovering on a slower hike, so that when you start to look at a chart, you look, if you're not going further enough back, if you're only going back like a couple of years, you can see this climb and it's like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good REIT. Look at this. But the reality is you have to kind of look at where they were before the pandemic. And then you kind of get that realization that they're still kind of coming back up. They're still trying to make up that hole. And what's going to happen though when they've made up that hole? Are they going to go back to being flat? Has something changed with that REIT? And that's where your fundamental analysis will come in. Has something changed to make that one a bit of an exception? So keep that in mind. If they're down right now, and if you look at where their normal level before the pandemic, and they're much lower than that, then yeah, you're probably going to eventually see that little gap be recovered. So that's kind of a neat little thing with that. Let's see. I'm assuming it's an argument about which one is more important, fundamental or technical analysis, but really both of them are important. Well, it is true. I was going to wait until I got to see what people were saying on on Blossom, but I like technical analysis and I like fundamental analysis, and I'll tell you why for both. For me, fundamental analysis gives you a bigger picture than technical analysis. Technical analysis gives you basically a reflection of the current psychology of the market and where things are moving. So technical analysis is great when you're trying to predict movements in the shorter terms. If you're using a day chart, you might still be able to make some good predictions, maybe even a year out, but there's so many opportunities for black swan events that come along. So I think of technical analysis as just being a best way short-term to see what's going on. Whereas fundamental analysis, this actually shows you the health of that company. And from that data, looking at everything from their cash sheet, their cash flow, are they making money? That's a huge thing with a company. The number one question I will always ask when I'm thinking about investing in a new company is, are they making money? Are they making good money? What is their free cash flow? Are they making enough money to pay all of their bills? Are they making enough money to expand if they're a growth company? It always will boil down to that cash sheet. I'll look at the cash flow. That's very important. Then I like to, of course, you guys know how much I don't like debt. So I will normally take a look at the debt. I'll take a look at, mostly, yeah, basically their cash sheet, their debt. Those are the two big ones. There's a lot of different ratios. Like when I look at something, for example, like return on equity, well, that's pulling in a lot of this. Everything sort of all interconnects that way. But sorry, my tongue just got all pulled up. I guess the end goal with fundamental analysis is just to give you a better idea of the overall health of the company and where that company is heading on a longer scale. Because you can normally, if you have really good fundamentals on a company, doesn't matter what the TA says, you've got a general idea that that company is going to be profitable for a while. So, for example, when you do the fundamentals on Air Canada was in some very rough spot. Air Canada looked like they were in some serious trouble. But when you look at the cash and you look at their cash and equities that they have, and you sort of realize that, oh my God, they can stay completely unprofitable for 3 or more years, then all of a sudden it gives you an idea. Okay, well, Air Canada is not going out of business. We're not going to cancel or the government would never let them fail, to be honest. They may talk big words and say, we're not going to give the airlines bailouts. But this is from a group of people who rely on the airlines to get to the House of Commons. So keep that in mind. So if things got really bad, a company like Air Canada would get a bailout. So when you look at that fundamentals and you sort of plot that all together, even if TA tells you Air Canada is about to take another big dive, it's still long-term. It's still going to be a good investment. There's still money to be made there. Now, what TA will tell you, though, is that there's a lot of volatility at this point, and it'll show you a lot of the intraday movements. And a lot of times, so when I was day trading, for example, very short-term TA was very important because it would let me know what's happening. So if I had TA that was showing the probability was a company was going down, I'm probably not going to try to scalp them at that point. Now, if I were doing shorts, I would think that might be a way to go because I could short that company as it's going down. But here's the thing. A lot of times you have to realize too, TA is never 100%. It's all about probability. So even when TA says something looks like it, you're seeing a pattern, for example, like a Head and Shoulders or a pennant or something like that. Even if it's saying it's, 60, 70% chance it's going up, it can still take that 30% down. Fundamental analysis is not that way. Fundamental analysis, if their fundamentals are good, you're not normally looking at, you're not normally looking at that company being down in 2 years, unless something, happens. There's always these black swan events that can happen in the market. So, and some of them you can't predict them. Like who could predict the pandemic? That was a big black swan event. So it's just kind of that idea I think they're both very valuable, both TA and FA. I think they're both have their uses. And I think that if you want to be a really good investor, if you're full out long-term investor, fundamental analysis all the way, that's going to be your best bet. But if you are a trader that does a few other things, like maybe you do swing trading or you are looking to take advantage of a few smaller shifts in the market, then you don't want to ignore TA. So that's my stance on it, but I'll still readdress this again next week if you guys want to. I'll take a look and see. I might need to chime in on the Blossom because that one's a good question. All right, let's see here. And Enid says, I like MFC. I guess MFC more than Sun Life. I am in the same boat, Enid. I do like MFC more than Sun Life. Thoughts on Realty Income? I haven't looked at them in a while, Nine. I need to take a look at them before I really have any more thoughts on them. But give me a second. Let me actually just pull this up here right now. Boop-a-doo-doo-doo. Stocks and investing. I'm just going to go into TMX Money. Sorry. Can't believe I just whistled. Let's see here. Realty Income Corporation. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What's this? No. All right. For some reason, I was thinking, I was actually thinking of another company. I was thinking of RS. RS is the real estate split core. So they have a lot of REITs involved. But are you asking nine? Are you asking about realty income in general? What I think about it? Just let me know, and I'll answer that because I'm not 100% sure. I saw that and I was thinking, I was trying to think of a stock. I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. All right. We'll switch over here to Enid. Candace, what are the top 3 to 5 stocks for safe dividend income for the next 5 to 7 years for maximum returns? I'm 60 years old. Yes, very old. Well, 60 years old is, it's not that old, but so here's I guess my big question for you, Enid, is when it comes to finding some stocks for safe dividend income, are you looking for stocks that are just geared up straight towards dividend income? Because here's the thing. There's a couple of ways you can approach creating passive income, especially as you're heading into retirement. So some people will say, okay, well, I don't care about my capital. I'm just going to throw it in and I'm just going to keep on those dividends. So, things like, for example, like HYLD, for example, is one like that where, you're getting, in this case here, 12 cents per share. So that's one option. The other option is you got some people, and I think this is going to be me in retirement because I don't think I'll ever retire. But what I will do is I'll probably still really like my overall total return strategy because I do like that idea. But at the same time, it really comes down to, like, I think right now, and I'll show you guys this actually. Just give me a second here. Let me pull this over. Oh, all right. I'm gonna pull up Blossom, and let's go into my portfolio. So here is. Hopefully, you guys can see this. So right now, currently, my entire portfolio has a 7.57% annual yield. Now, of course, I have a lot of stocks that are, more total return. So that number is lower. So it's just kind of one of the neat things. And when you look at dividend allocation, so right now, 90% of my stocks provide dividends, and the other 10% are non-dividend stocks. So it's just a couple of little things that you can pull together. Now that there is actually in the plus version of Blossom because it will help you really break down and organize your dividends. They are planning to add a whole bunch of other things. So, but what I will do is I do actually want to make a retirement focused dividend video, Enid. So I will put that on my list of things to do sooner than later so that we can get this off because I'd like to research the top 3 to 5 because they're always changing. And I will tell you this, even going into retirement, when you're picking good dividend stocks for, for creating a good amount of passive income, even if they were safe going in, they're not always going to stay safe. So you do want to be paying attention. So you still want to, at least be monitoring them. And if you see something you don't like, then there's always the opportunity to move to another option if somebody is starting to really struggle. Now, if you want complete hands off, you are going to sacrifice a little bit of yield for that because if the more safety you want, the less that top end of that dividend is going to be. So you'll have a lower yield. Excuse me, but time to have a drink. But I will do a video on that and not just for you, but for everybody. And then we'll go from there. And we already talked about this. Can you please do a discounted cash flow step by step to value stock? Yes, I will. Like I said, you will get that this summer. That is on my list. So Dee Dee, we will get that for you. In general, realty income. Yeah. So realty income, once again, you got a couple of options. You've got REITs. The other option is to buy real estate. Now, when it comes to buying real estate, of course, you need bigger down payments nowadays. they have, and that's just because of the situation of the rate hikes and making sure that you can afford to pay for the house. But if I were to buy a brand new house, so if I had the money and I wanted to buy a new house, what I would almost do, to be honest, is to buy maybe a 2-unit house, so a split house. That way, there I could live on one side and I could rent out the other side. And you could probably do that in such a way that renting out the other side could cover your entire mortgage. And then you're basically living for free. So that's just one of those things that, just to think about. I think it's a good way to do it. But when it comes to other realty, well, I did mention RS. RS is a split core that is in there. And let me just take a look and see what that dividend yield is. Normally, some of these have some pretty good ones. So RS, so it's got a 10.848%. So you're getting 13 cents a month on that. So I would, at this point, I would probably be paying attention to things like RS is something I would have and I know there's a few people in the community that do love RS. And so that's definitely an option when it comes to realty income in general. I know that there's other companies as well that kind of sell you like shares in a house. I'm not entirely convinced that that is a good way to go yet. So I would be a little leery of those, or at least do a little bit of homework. All right, let's see here. Whoops, pull this up. Long boil, we hit the bottom last weekend. Okay, well, maybe. It's kind of one of those interesting things. When we hit the bottom, I don't think we'll know really until after the fact, but there's nothing wrong with that. Vinneet's in the building. Hey, hey. And then Wayne Smith says, you need to watch for dividend cuts. HYL, they'll just do, yeah, exactly. And that's where we started the show off mentioning HYLD reduced its dividend down from 14 to 12 cents. This, though, was not unexpected. I kind of saw this coming. It's still in a good place. But if they start cutting it further, I would be a little bit leery. I've seen a lot of, like, even as well, some of these purpose ones that have really high yields. If things don't turn around quickly enough, I would be just watching those as well. I wouldn't be surprised if like their Tesla one starts to come down. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Hi, Candace. Nice to see you. Ha ha, with the whistling. Yeah, I don't even know. It's like I forgot I was on stream, right? And I just start whistling. I whistle a lot, to be honest. So it's just one of those things. And Wayne says, Enid, you're not old. I'm 76, and I continue to day trade crude oil and gold. Ha! Yeah, there we go. And I do like this pick. AC Dats says EIT would be my pick for safe dividend income. Yeah, absolutely. I do love EIT. So Canoe is simply a really great little stock. So they would be on my list. Absolutely. I also really love how Canoe, I love their management. I feel their management is very smart, and I like the job that they've been doing. Now, Muggsy says, Candace, you're looking marvelous. Ooh, good to see you back. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. And like I said, I'm feeling a lot better. Now, mind you, typically I heal really fast. So I'm hoping that that's a trend that continues. So, all right, let's see here. Do you feel Blossom Plus version has some good tools? I think it's getting there. I think it is definitely getting there. I do like their dividends, their dividend tools. I like being able to see it. Now, I have only looked at that aspect, but as I said, I want to dig a little bit deeper into Blossom. I do know there's a lot of stuff planned for Blossom. I'll tell you one thing that Blossom has actually done. They have put in an application for their broker license. So they want to become a broker down the road, sort of like a competitor to Wealthsimple. So that could be very interesting in regards to Blossom. All right. And Tim Dancer's in the house. Better late than never. Hello, Tim. Good to see you. Those of you guys who don't know about Wednesday night, I'm over on Tim Dander's channel every Wednesday night. And the two of us are just chatting up a storm about this, that, and everything else. So if you guys are interested in catching that anytime, just head over to the Tim and Nancy Danter channel. Just search Tim and Nancy Danter. You'll find them. Throw them a sub and join us on Wednesday nights for that live stream. So that is fantastic. And Jay says, still 1 million plus Vancouver. Nice. And Vineet says, 2 units is called a duplex. Yeah, exactly. It can be called a duplex. How much money down do you think you would need? Well, that's a really good question. I don't know the math on that right now, Vineet, but I do know that they have like what's called a stress test. And that stress test is going to make sure that you can afford that mortgage. And that also causes them to want you to put down a lot more. So right now, you'd be putting down a lot more than you would have at the beginning of the pandemic, but I don't have the math on that. So I'm not going to speculate. Oh my God, this has been a fantastic stream. You guys are awesome. We're heading towards the hour mark. So get in if you've got burning questions and you're waiting for the last minute to throw them in now. Just get them out there. We'll get those touched up for you. So yeah, coming up, things with the channel. As you guys might be able to tell, I've actually changed that green background that we had before, lightened it up a little bit. Looking just to change a whole bunch of other little things. And oh my gosh, look at this. We've got a goat here. We get RA dropping in with the super chat there for $2.20. Welcome back, Candace. Any thoughts on TXF? All right, how is TXF doing? Let's take a look here. So TFX, of course, is your CI Tech Giants covered call ETF. Now, here's one of these things, though. I think tech was one of those things that led the way into the bear market. And I have a feeling, this is just a feeling, folks. I don't have any data to prove this, but I have a feeling that when we start moving into the bull market, I think tech's going to lead us in there. So anything like, for example, TXF. Now, TXF, they were doing well. They've fallen a little bit recently, but they also have a pretty strong dividend on them. So I think it's just over 10%. So that's not a bad yield for that. Works out to 39.1 cents Canadian. So I think I would definitely say that TXF is something that I think they've got some good days ahead of them as we move into the bull market. So that's going to be really, really great. All right. And thoughts on realty income in general? I like diversification. And I think with Canada, where we don't have as many sectors as, for example, the US, I think the realty, I think realty is a good sector. I think it's a solid sector. I think it's a good investment. I think it's more of a passive income investment, though, as I said before. If you are branching out into real estate, well, land is always going to go back up, even though we've had a bit of a drop. I think you'll make, it depends on it really depends on how long you're willing to wait. If you're willing to wait, you're going to make money on realty in general. So realty income is not bad. I would never put it down. And I would love, if I had a lot of money sitting around, I would absolutely be buying a little bit of real estate, because that's a good form of passive income to have. So it never hurts. And keep in mind too, most millionaires have about 7 streams of income. So if you are in that position where you can actually buy some real estate and rent it out, that's a good stream of income to have coming in. Now, mind you, it does come with a lot of headaches if you're the landlord and you have to manage everything, but you can usually find a rental company that will basically do it for you. Depends on the fees. Do the research. And as Jill just said in the background, do the research. Absolutely. When it comes to fees and all of that fun stuff. And then thank you. Yes, we'll get that video out for you. Don't worry, Dee Dee. And Vanita's saying, oops, let's get this. Is this working? Oh, there we go. He says, I think it would be over $90,000 down. It depends on, of course, it depends on the price. If you're buying $1 million home, you're going to be putting a lot more down. And I also missed this one here. Stress test around 7.5%. I meant the stock realty income ticker. Oh, you say. Okay. We can do that. Well, no, I guess just O. Let me take a look at O. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo-boo. That's not coming up. The stock realty income ticker O. I do not have an O coming up in my my screener. Is that brand new? 9, because I don't know what O is. If you just tell me the full name of it, I can maybe find it that way. Let's see. Yes, it does. Rental and Airbnb with a superhost. Yeah, absolutely. King of the Day says, any thoughts on the Shopify recent crazy run? Would you recommend buy, hold, or sell? Well, just pull up Shopify here. We'll take a look and see what's going on there. Oh, there we go. Shopify. So yeah, like holy banana bread. Look at that. I see what you're talking about. They had a big, so they basically jumped from 63 to 85. That's really good. Yeah. Well, it's an interesting thing. Shopify is interesting. They're one of our few tech companies. I would be. Oh, the NYSE. Okay, sorry. I was just seeing ahead that O is on the NYSE. Okay, we'll see if I can see that here in a second, Wayne. With Shopify, I'd be a little bit leery of it at this point. I don't think we're ready for it to really pump any further. I wouldn't. Well, to be honest, I would probably sell and then see if it drops back down and then re-enter back in. But that's kind of me. But keep in mind, if you're in a TFSA, you can't do that because you could get flagged for day trading doing something like that. So you want to have 30 days basically between your sells and buys. But I have a feeling it's going to correct back down a little bit. I think that this may be an aberration, but I would really want to look again into their fundamentals just to see if there's any other reason for this. So this to me looks like something where I think it will come back down. I imagine it'll probably come back down to probably about 69 or so. So if you bought it low and it doesn't hurt to take profits off the table. Remember, you don't have to sell all of it if you want to take some profits. You could always just taking out a little bit. So that's that's kind of cool. Are you going for walks by chance? And I like the background. Thank you. I'm actually gonna start tomorrow. I'm gonna start checking the mail, which is a walk down the street a little bit. I have been, I'm feeling a lot more mobile, and I do go up and down the stairs once a day, and I'll probably start doing it maybe twice a day as well. So I'm trying not to push it. I know I feel like I can do more than I'm doing right now, but I'm going to take it slow, make sure everything is going good. Right now, I'm getting used to all of the healthy eating, which is fantastic. Most of my diet right now is mostly Mediterranean style. So I do like that. That's all the doctors said that was the way to go. All right. And I'm just going to take a look here. So, it's on the NYSE. And why am I still not seeing it? That's kind of weird. Let me a second. I'm going to go over to Yahoo Finance. Because I will tell you. Right. All right, let's try this. Where are... Wow, even over on Yahoo Finance, I'm still not coming up with O. So I'm not sure what O is. I haven't had a chance to look at it. As I put this up here, Wayne said. But I do not know why I'm not getting it. I'm going to try one more thing here. Let's try. Just going to go to Google and see if I can Google O. And let's see. Oh, here it is. Realty Income Corp. Well, let's take a look at this. All right. All right. So O has a smaller dividend yield. So you're looking at 4.93%. I'm just taking a look. I can see where it dropped at the pandemic. Then it's been climbing and it's been dropping back again. But this one of the things I like about this one, I can tell right now. Now, I haven't done any fundamentals on this one, is that before the pandemic, it was not going flat. It was actually growing before the pandemic. So I like that. That's a good sign for O. Um, Now, worst case scenario is I could definitely see O getting back to about $80. Worst case scenario, I think. So I think there is some growth on O. I think O is not a bad one. And that one for the Canadians in the house would be a great one to put into your RRSP so you're not paying any of that withholding tax. So yeah, exactly. A REIT. Perfect. All right. And Tim says, we have found that the sweet spot for real estate investment are the properties around 500K. This price point has proven to us over history to be a responsible in point and great gains out. Yeah, I think that's probably a good amount too. And it really comes down to like if you are, I mean, if you really want to manage your own properties, you certainly can do that. And in a case like that, I would usually recommend buying your properties as close to each other as you can. I used to work in Ottawa. I used to work for a group that they owned trailer mobile homes, and they had, oh my God, probably about 30 or 40 of them. But they were all in, parks that were all around the Stittsville area. And that was, they made a pretty good living out of that, and they managed it themselves. And, they had employees and everything. Well, I was one of their employees. So it can be very, very profitable. Real estate can be, but it really depends on how much time you want to put into it. All right. And Tim says reasonable, not responsible. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, guys. This has been a good one back. Next week we'll be back to the regular this week. So I'll bring some new stuff for you as well. And I'm trying to figure out ways that I can make the live stream even better. So I'm working on a few different things. We'll see whether or not I can implement them by next live stream or not. I think that would be fantastic. All right. So everybody, thank you for being here today. This was awesome. I love connecting with everybody again. And watch this week as we'll have that CN video drop out. And be sure on Wednesday night to tune in to Tim and Nancy Danter's channel as me and Tim and maybe a few others, who knows, we'll be having a great old time, and I think it'll be fun to watch. All right. So everybody, thank you for being here. We will see you guys next time. And once again, Vinit says letter O, not number O. I did the letter O. I don't know why it didn't come up, Vinit. But anyway, we will see you guys next time. And this has been an awesome stream, and I look forward to many, many more. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you again next week.